everyone, and welcome to Business Boutique. I'm Christy Wright, and today we are continuing the conversation with Laura Berens. Laura is the founder and CEO of Love and Fit, and she's the host of the Time to Be You podcast. You can check out part 2 now. So I love another thing that you said. I love how you said you went to Google, because so many of the women that I talk to have this idea in their head that super successful people, super successful business owners and entrepreneurs are those that have tons of degrees, tons of background and experience in running a business, that's what qualifies them to run a business, that they know all the steps, they follow the formula, they get permission from everyone, everywhere to run a business. And more often than not, they just start at Google, just like you did. They were just determined to start doing some research, start figuring out the steps, figuring out what they needed to do first, and it was just that they started. And I love that because that's what you did. But for many of them, and I'm sure this was a similar experience for you, that was the first domino that knocked down the second domino and so on. And it became this momentum that was created all because they decided to start. So you went to Google and you worked with designers. How did this thing go from idea phase to you actually taking it to market? Meaning you're selling, you price it, you've got whatever selling platform you're using. Talk to us about that transition from it's no longer just getting the testing phase, getting samples, but you're taking it to market now.
Yeah, so I kind of battled with how I wanted to do that. And so I was either like, okay, do I want to just launch it, and have a Shopify website and that's it? Or, do I want to do some type of ramp up, kind of marketing / crowdfunding? So I did decide to launch on Kickstarter for 30 days. And it wasn't really about, just trying to, make money to create the products. It was really about, with Kickstarter, it's all about marketing, and you're sending out email campaigns and Facebook ads and all that type of stuff to get the exposure. And so that really helped. And throughout Kickstarter, we were able to get featured on Fit Pregnancy, Shape Magazine. So, and again, that wasn't from me, having this big background in digital marketing. I just started reaching out to people that I knew through corporate and people I've worked with, and I had some connections that worked at those magazines, and they thought the story was awesome, and I got it featured. So we launched on Kickstarter, we met our goal, we did awesome, we sent out all those units, and then after that, then we launched online on e-commerce. And by then, we had already gotten, people to know about our brand, and, throughout just marketing and Facebook ads, we were able to grow for selling on e-commerce.
I love it. And what's amazing is this has really taken off. So when did you start? How long have you been in business now?
You're going to laugh. So we actually started online. Our Kickstarter ended in November last year, so we've been selling online for a year.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And this has taken off. Like, it really has just had exponential growth. So I'd love to hear from you now, a year later, a year in business, which congratulations, because that's a huge milestone to be in business for a year. What are some things that you've done to keep up with the growth and the demand and scaling? What started as a simple idea is now this machine that you really have to stay in front of. So kind of talk to us about maybe how you've grown personally in leading this business, but also some strategic and intentional things you've done to keep up with that growth as the business is kind of taken off.
Definitely. Well, I knew I just didn't want to have one nursing sports bra, so we grew the line. So I just sat down and I thought, what are the other things that I wanted when I was nursing, or even when I was pregnant, or right after the baby? And so I created the pre to post capri leggings, which have silicone on the waistband, so they stay up on your belly when you're pregnant, or even during postpartum if you're doing jumping jacks, burpees, running, that type of thing. After that, we created the nursing hoodie, which just has zippers on the side. Then I created the nursing tank top, and then another strappy back nursing sports bra. And we're coming out with a couple more products in a month as well. And so people kind of started saying, well, what else do you have? What else do you have? So the demand was there, and I knew moms wanted other type of activewear rather than just the nursing sports bra. And so I started going back to, the factories I was working with, the designers, coming out with new designs. We built our Instagram. So we just had launched our Instagram because it was a brand new company. And working with social media influencers really helped grow our company as well. So moms online on Instagram that were an influencer or a micro-influencer, we started partnering with them, and that really got awesome exposure. Throughout this time, when I went back to my corporate job, I was actually laid off, which really helped boost me into the business. And I thought to myself, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always knew I didn't want to stay in corporate. So that was like the stepping stone that was like, okay, Laura, like now's your chance. Go ahead. Like, let's see where this company goes. Yeah.
That lit a fire under you. That's awesome. It's almost that blessing that you're like, yeah, this is the right thing in the right time. I love that. Well, you've done so much in such a short amount of time. So I'd love to hear from you. How have you navigated knowing what to do next? Like how do you decide what the right next step is from the next product line? You mentioned, things that you wanted, and you've got some new stuff coming out. But even now, podcasting, other things, Instagram, whatever those things are that you're working on, how do you figure out what to do next? Because I know for a lot of entrepreneurs, that's a struggle. I'll take the next step. I just don't know what the right next step is. So talk to us a little bit about that experience.
Mm-hmm. Well, the podcast that I launched was kind of just about my personal brand. So Love and Fit, it's kind of about my story. So a lot of people were interested in where I come from, who I was. And so the podcast kind of launched that personal brand and talking about, motivation, inspiration, entrepreneurship, motherhood, everything that, I'm really about. And that's where I launched the podcast. And I also just wanted to connect with other entrepreneurs out there, for a selfish reason. I was like, I love, giving all this advice out to everyone on the podcast, but also I love interviewing people.
Sure.
And, I was learning so much. And I did, I built this company with like no mentor, no background, no investment or anything like that. And so having the podcast has been awesome because I've been able to actually connect with other entrepreneurs. Because as you know, entrepreneurship can be a little bit lonely when it's just you running the company.
Yeah.
So I just kind of started building out other things that were about my personal brand and, doing some consulting and coaching for other women entrepreneurs. I love doing that. I love seeing other entrepreneurs grow and start their business and really just taking it from there.
I love it. One of the things that I love about your company and the concept is just that you solve such a specific problem in the marketplace for a specific group of people, and that's how you really become successful, when you know what problem you solve and you know whose problem that you're solving. And I love that about your business, and I'm teaching women that a lot, Laura. I'm always helping them figure out what is the problem you solve. The only thing people care about is the problem you solve. That's what they pay you for, is because you solve that problem. So let's dig deep to figure out that problem you solve. And some businesses, it's really easy to figure out the problem they solve. They teach piano, and there are moms that want their children to learn piano, and that's a problem they solve. Others, it can be more difficult. Some industries that are creative, like art, it's like, well, I don't know what problem I solve. Well, you do. There are people that want custom art or custom watercolor or canvases that have a story. So I dig deep with them on figuring out the problem they solve, but I'd love to hear from you on for you, what advice might you have for some entrepreneurs that are trying to figure out the problem they solve, and even in new product lines, like even as you mentioned leggings. Okay, leggings that don't slip down. How did you think through, here's a specific problem with leggings, and we're gonna solve that through this elastic that doesn't slide, that type of thing. So kind of talk to us about that, because it seems like you have this really dialed in your business and in your product line. I think it's such an important point if you have any advice for our listeners.
Yeah, definitely. So I think it definitely will vary if it's a service-based industry or product-based industry. For the leggings, for instance, I just sat down and started reflecting and thinking about the things that I wanted back, because I was my target market.
Right.
So for a product that you're the target market, just ask yourself, what were the things that you wanted? Why did you need them? Why was it important to yourself? One thing I've really zoned in on is creating like an avatar. So like, the avatar for Love and Fit is a mom that just had a baby. She's always been into fitness and kind of working out. She wants to be active, but she wants to be comfortable. She wants to, be able to nurse her child at any time. Thinking about the other person and who you're helping and coming from that angle rather than, okay, what's this going to do in the market? How is it going to sell? Just think about the person and what they want and what they need. And so you got to come up with that avatar.
Yeah, I love that. And then when you get to know them, like you're describing, then you start to think about what they need, and it becomes very easy to make decisions on how to help them, from leggings to hoodies or art or piano lessons, whatever that business is. Laura, I could talk to you all day. I love hearing your story. I love what you do. And so it's just really inspiring to me, and I know all of our listeners, to hear from someone that has been out there and done it. A mom that has made it up as she went and become successful and knocked down the doors, didn't take no for an answer, and was scrappy. And I'm just so impressed at all you've accomplished in such a short amount of time. I'd love it, as we wrap up, if you would tell our listeners and our viewers how they can connect with you and find out about these amazing bras and hoodies and all the things. So give us all of the details.
Sure. So the website is called loveandfit.com. So LOVEANDFIT. You can find me on Instagram at Laura_loveandfit. The company is at Love and Fit Shop. And, I'm on Facebook as well, but I pretty much hang out on Instagram. So you're going to find me there on Instagram stories. And yeah.
I love it. And your podcast, tell us about your podcast.
Oh, yeah, podcast. Yeah, so my podcast is called Time to Be You. And we just launched that about 6 months ago, and Christy was on. Yay.
Yeah, that's how we got connected. I loved it.
Yeah, and I loved having you on. You were awesome. And we talk a lot about women and entrepreneurship and motherhood and motivation and inspiration.
I love it. We are such kindred spirits in this space, and I'm just such a fan of you. So thanks so much, Laura. I know you're crazy busy, but thanks for coming on and hanging out with us.
Christy, it was awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you need help finding your best business idea, well, you want to check out Business Idea Bootcamp. This is my course where I help you brainstorm all of your ideas and test and narrow down those ideas to find your best idea. You can sign up for Business Idea Bootcamp by clicking the link below.